And welcome back, YouTube, to another episode of Tapping Around in From the Depths. And yeah, I've been gone this week simply because my power supply died last weekend, and that was annoying because, well, it is annoying. And there were holidays in my country, so I had to kind of wait for the power supply to get to me. It took a while, let's put it that way. And I got it on Thursday actually, but couldn't really use it because, well, it was not just my power supply, it was also my disks, and it happened that, well, I was reinstalling Windows didn't recognize the motherboard, and then couldn't install the drivers, and thus I had no internet connection, and somehow then I get to pretty much manage to get the Wi-Fi to work. Thankfully I have a router that accepts Wi-Fi, so that somehow allowed me to update. Of course it did not update because it's Windows, so yet again I had to go into some odd back route where I finally got some update manager, which thankfully allowed me to download stuff, and of course during the download it broke up as well, so I had to do another workaround and finally managed to get it to work and install Windows properly and put everything down. And it was Saturday 4 AM in the morning where I finally managed to get everything to work. Thank you, Windows, you're the best. Yeah, so that was pretty much my week. It's funny, eh? Even though, I mean, I should be expecting what has happened to happen before, simply because I actually had a fire on my graphical card like 6 months ago, and as the end result I had to replace the graphical card. And back then I should think, what was the core issue of this? And I did not. Yeah. I should just use that time and just replace everything, but instead I was actually just replace the graphical card and then realized, well, the motherboard also took damage, so I had to replace the motherboard and the CPU and the RAM, and by now I pretty much replaced everything. Funny, ain't it? How that works. Thankfully ships are actually stored on Steam app as well, so the moment I downloaded the game, I got all my designs back, which is nice. One saving grace to everything. Oops. Yeah. Also, I just downloaded the dev test and built, and there are some differences, aka the rails, they're very nice. And what we're building here right now is pretty much kind of the first aircraft, which gonna be kinda cheap, kinda dirty kinda thing, and do not suspect it to work very well. We are not gonna be using it much, simply because things like this size usually tend not to work very well, or better to say, they work. It just, they get hit once and they die, and well, then you rebuild them and there is actually a glitch where there is certain setting that then does not allow other machines to repair it anymore, and that's annoying. So yeah, I just prefer not to use something like this in a campaign, even though you could, but it's up to kind of luck on how well it's going to work, because as I said, it gets hit once, it's done for. So yeah. keep that in mind if you build very small. It's also a problem a bit with the AI. You would want to have Lua or something like that to make it work. If you just use the native AI, then you have to understand that it uses waypoints, and that means that everything on the map pretty much has a tendency to converge toward a single direction, and that will cause them to crash. Into one another. Yeah, so it won't crash the game, it just crashes the machine that you have built, and that's super annoying, and hopefully they're gonna fix that at some point. Okay, we're actually having way too much power on here. No, it's gonna be fine. Ammo processors, yeah, we're gonna need like one. Need one. Also, let's put in a repair bot, otherwise I'm gonna forget it yet again. And yeah, one repair bot, one repair tentacle, kind of for the machine this size is gonna be okay. And yeah, very small, very dingy kind of craft. Let's at least make it somewhat nice looking. Hopefully it's gonna be somewhat nice looking. I'm not really good at building aircrafts, just not that good. It's kind of my bane on building flying things in this game. Let's do it this way. When you're placing ailerons, either that be elevation, either direction, either pitch. Well, no, these are elevation, these are pitch ones. What is it? Yaw, rudder, that one I think. And the regular ones that control the roll of the aircraft, you kind of have to pay attention that they are turned in the right direction, or the AI will go full stupid with them. That's where it's not that smart. No, error. We're also gonna need the yaw one right at the back here. Just building it like this. Yes. Yeah, and I'm using this rudder parts as decoration. Do take note, they do not mirror, as you can see there. So we're gonna have to fix all of those unmirrored parts later on, and we're gonna hope it's going to work. There is a potential chance that there are gonna be a couple of glitches happening as the end result, but not that many. The dev test build does have just a couple of graphical glitches at the moment that I noticed, and I'm hoping it's not going to be too bad once we actually get into a campaign or something, but yeah, they're there and I'm well aware of them. Hopefully it's not going to be too bad. We don't think I do have enough processing power. Nope, no we don't. So one more general processor, and yeah, now it works just fine. I am using steam power on this aircraft, and it works because steam does produce some stupid amounts of power on board the vessel or ship or whatever you're building, and that's kind of nice. Yep. Why not use fuel? Well, pretty sure you could build something like this using fuel engines up as well, but it would be, I think, less power on it, and I'm not really sure if I would be satisfied with that. It's most definitely it's doable, but I just decided not to. Ugh. Let's put it on 0-2. Oh my god. Ugh, fine. Stubborn. Like that. Still gonna need missile parts. Where are you? Small launcher. Then it's just the other way around. And Freeland. That's gonna be fine. Variable thruster. Let's put a turning thruster up as well. Target prediction. We have 25 seconds of thrust duration, so variable thruster, and we're gonna just hike it up. Let's say 250. Thrust duration of 10 seconds. So yeah, that's gonna work just fine. And you pretty much the same. And of course 250 we set on the other one. Yeah, 10 seconds. So this should now work for our weapons. We will make it very narrow firing arc here, because I don't want them to shoot around the aircraft. The aircraft, because of their movement speed, have a habit of shooting themselves with the missiles if you set them up like this. So it's kind of good idea to restrain where the missiles want to go, just in case. It doesn't always work, especially if there are multiple targets on the map. That can actually cause them to still weird oddly and kind of damage itself. But yeah, let's hope for the best with this one. And let's put the wing here up as well. How? Okay. Yeah, this is gonna be appropriate with I'm guessing air wing. Yep. Okay. This actually gonna look just fine. 2 rows of these. They're gonna be, yeah, appropriate, I'm guessing. We don't need that many. It's pretty much a very small aircraft. Even though we are using a lots of metal in this build, so alloy would be more appropriate material for aircraft, but it's not really necessary. The weight in this game is... do we want like this? Yeah, let's do it like this. And we're gonna see how it's gonna look like in the end. Triangle section. Okay, not this one. This one? Yeah, this one gonna work just fine. Like that, and down here up as well. And yeah, so this works. Missiles are set up on both sides. We now have to demirror this thing, because as I said before, it does not mirror well. So let's fix whatever it's broken. Ugh. This is kind of annoying. Okay. This is also on ships. If you intend to use it like a form of stabilization or something like that, you may pay attention to this, because as you can see, it does not mirror well at all. But I mean, they do look relatively nice, I'm guessing. They do make that very thin aircraft kind of wing possible. And they look nice. They look objectively nice. Even though they are incredibly fragile. If we get hit with a missile in this area, it's just gonna be gone. So it doesn't add anything to the structure of that thing and the wing. We're gonna add the AI, aerial bombing, maneuver. It's of course plane, and let's put a plane active. So wander distance 150 and 150. If you don't set this one up to somewhat of a distance, then the plane usually have a tendency to just roll itself into the water. You see that happen all the time. So yeah, just a slightly bit more distance allows it a bit more freedom, and of course minimum altitude, cruising altitude above water, maximum altitude, yeah, that all needs to be changed. So yeah, and then we of course pretty much have to change the cruising altitude again for area bombment, flight over, begin distance, let's say 550 meters or so, abort attack round, and let's put this one to like 20 seconds, just slightly bit longer, so we don't force the plane to constantly turn. In air, yeah, we have repair bots, we have everything. Paint it over. Let's go. So yeah, it's doing kind of fine. Yes. Well, we could also, like, if you want it more stable, we could put the AI and we put a PID in. I did leave a spot at the front here. So, and let's turn this to pitch. So, I think it's gonna be just a bit more stable. Yeah, let's see. It's not really necessary, but I mean, it is kind of necessary if it turns out that the missiles are hitting the aircraft because of too much of a pitch, but I'm not really sure if that would be happening in this case. Let's also paint it up a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit, like that. And yeah, that's gonna be just monocolor. Let's change it up a little bit, just so that we have less of a kind of ghetto aircraft at our disposal. Okay. Even though planes like this are super ghetto. As I said, I'm not in huge favor of them, even though it's extremely cheap. Building something like this is extremely cheap, and it doesn't cost a lot of material and stuff, so using one is not is nothing bad about it. It just I kind of dislike that sort of very tiny builds, as they tend to get killed very quickly. So yeah, but it works. Let's also see if it works against an actual target. It's turning. It's actually pretty decent at turning around, and missiles are firing. Very tiny missiles. The very tiny missiles, as I said, are pretty good at just stripping wood out, as you can see there. Even though those were the big missiles, weren't they? Ooh, Rill actually got hit pretty badly. Oh, Rill is the starting ship. It got a name, yes. Oh, it's AI that. Oh, okay. Well, the aircraft works. That's all I have to. Let's try something more difficult, like, I don't know, a flying squirrel. Even though the flying squirrel will go after the bigger target, so... and the flying squirrel is gone. You see, that's why I don't particularly like these very small machines. It doesn't really matter how agile you make them. One unlucky hit and they're gone. But it's very cheap. It's very cheap. 5,600 material. This is like 5 times the price of our bigger vessel, our starting vessel. So it has very limited firepower, only these tiny missiles, and we could extend that and make more missiles, more bigger missiles or something like that, but in general it's not really neat to do that. As I said, I'm most likely not gonna be using anything like this, but just as a build-up kind of model stuff thingy. Oh, let's go and repair you. Yeah, Rill got updated a bit since the last time around. One more thing, I nearby forgot it. I always forget this. I will not forget it this time. Once you're done building your thing, press C, select your machine, and then press R, because you have to designate it into a group, or it's not gonna be playing nice. Also, it's designating as one of these. All vehicles start as an air vehicle, so if you build a ship, you have to designate it as a sea vehicle. So this is important, and this is very important if you play with localized resources. With centralized resources, I don't think it matters that much, but it's still a good idea to put it like that. So yeah, it does kind of look nice. So yeah, okay. Back to Rill. Rill got updated with the... oh yeah, my custom flag is gone. Don't worry, the moment I get my custom flag back on, you're gonna be adorned with the ugliest flag that world has ever seen. Yeah. On the other hand, DevTest does have rails, which are nice. Very nice looking. I would wish that there would be like another version of them where the bottom part would be filled in. So you would have like the upper would be a rail and the bottom one would be kinda having an edge to it. So it will be like filled out. It also we put repair tentacles on it, repair unit, and a couple of repair bots. 2 of each on the ship, so that kind of works just fine for a ship of this size, and I don't want to overdo it with repairs. Now if you build your ships out of wood, I would recommend you building a bit more repair bots on it, just because wood gets destroyed very easily. And this is our new ship, which I nicknamed Pira, and it pretty much is a missile boat. Twice as expensive, twice the size of our starting vessel, and yeah. And there's not gonna be too much of a recording of this, simply because, well, this is the recording I lost. I was literally in the middle of recording this when my power supply died. Actually, I was already done with the recording. I was in the editing part, and that actually managed to corrupt both the edited version as the non-edited one, somehow. I have no idea how that works. But yeah, this is a 2-turret setup. It has a 3-meter turret at the bottom and then an elevation turret right here on top of it. This kind of setup actually works way better with smaller missiles, but I'm gonna use the medium ones, like this. Nothing special. They do work, especially against larger targets. Against smaller targets, they just can't hit them. No way. Now, on the other hand, we also have these standard missiles, 6 of them in the hull. Pretty much variable thruster, turning thruster, a fin, fuel tank, target prediction, 1 turn, fragmentation explosion, and active radar seeker. This is pretty much standard. And we also have the ejectors in the hull. If you build your missiles into the hull like this, always have the ejectors, or because the ship of them moving forward and missiles are going up, the missiles can get hooked by the hull and boom, explosion on top of your deck. Never a good idea, so it's always good to have the ejectors that push the missile out as quickly as possible. So yeah, kind of an advice right there. And of course we also have the 42mm gun that is kind of useless. It kind of looks like it would be more effective than the one used on drill, but in reality it's not. It's actually incredibly small and tiny and completely useless. I'm using the same engines, just 2 of them, one on this side, one on this side, and it's going the exhaust then up. Yeah. So this is pretty much our missile boat. It also has this active sonar, which it kind of doesn't need because it doesn't have any torpedoes on board. The ship is, as I said before, already as expensive as it is. So yeah, let's put something in the... that we can fight here. Well, not much of anything. You can... Let's put a pilferer in. That's just so you see the glory of very, very early designs in the game. Well, early design. Oh, will we get hit? No. Actually, the aircraft yaw is kind of saving it against this type of guns. And as you can see, I mean, wooden vessels are so vulnerable to this, pretty much what you call spam of weaponry, and these small missiles are like perfect spammers. They just tendency to destroy this stuff very quickly. And we have taken some damage, but I mean, Pilferer is dead. So yeah, I guess this is gonna be it for today, and oh well, see ya.